Hello again. We're back because we heard news and we have to respond to it.
The town crier over here.
Yeah, because Goodyear Tire, also known as America's Tire Company, has put out a notice that they will no longer tolerate people who wear MAGA hat, MAGA tire, or espouse such nonsense as all lives matter or blue lives matter. And some people have found this discriminatory.
Yeah.
Right? And nobody likes discrimination, right?
Yeah.
Unless it's like the discrimination of a sage.
Or discernment.
Yeah, so we're here to talk today about where should the line be drawn when we're talking about MAGA hats.
What are you saying when you're wearing a MAGA hat?
What is the best possible reading of someone doing that, and what is the worst possible reading of someone doing that? And I think that's what I ask myself.
Yeah, because it was my impression that, okay, there can be some people who wear MAGA hats that aren't bad people, or they're not horrible, racist people. But then you might think the opposite, that if someone is wearing the MAGA hat, they're basically asking for some sort of issue. They're looking for attention, they're looking for a fight.
Yeah, so is the MAGA hat just the 21st century Confederate flag, or is it just like wearing a Bush t-shirt in 2000 or a McCain hat in 2008?
Yeah,
like, is it just another president you're getting behind, or is it more of a cultural statement that you hate black people and people who aren't white more broadly?
Mm.
And I unfortunately think that it is that statement for a decent amount of people. I don't know what the percentage is because I am not an ethnographer, nor am I taking polls, but
Sure,
I
so
think it's justified to think if someone's rocking a MAGA hat in work, they might be subtly saying, I don't like the black people I work with.
So you think the MAGA hat is more akin to the Confederate flag than it is to, say, a Bush t-shirt?
I think that is open to possibility means that it should be nipped in the bud if you're running a company.
Yeah.
Like the fact that that question even pops into someone's head nowadays, maybe it might simplify things on Goodyear's part if you're just like, let's avoid that at all cost.
Mm.
Because it's going to create animosity between employees who otherwise it might not be there. It's going to irreversibly sort of impact the quality of your work. And so maybe you just shouldn't have MAGA hats in the workplace.
Yeah, because I could see it from like a top-down perspective in a business. Being like, hey, how about we just don't wear these in our work because we don't want to have these sorts of problems in the workplace. We want it to be relatively apolitical and we want people to concentrate on the work that they're supposed to be doing rather than what's going on in the country at the moment.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I do feel like there's something a bit off about that, and that trying to keep your business or organization sheltered or just
sterilize everything.
Yeah. Some people want to keep their businesses sterile and problem-free, and they think they can do this by just expelling politics out of the workplace. But in my mind, I still think it would be good for people to discuss these things maybe on breaks, or maybe I should say it shouldn't be encouraged, but it shouldn't be discouraged either. But then with the issue with the MAGA hat, since like a person doesn't even have to say anything, but I could picture someone going to work with the MAGA hat just to incite someone who they know it will bother, even if they deny it.
Yeah, and like you said before, it maybe is an attention-seeking practice, or I don't know. I mean, I'm not wearing the hat, so it's tough for me to totally put myself in those shoes. I wouldn't wear any gear for any politician I supported. I just think that's kind of odd. But
I think it could be good in the fact that, like, hey, I support this candidate wholeheartedly, and
like,
I
get their
want people
name
to
out
know.
there.
I see that more with the Bernie crew, and they're wearing their Bernie t-shirts. There's a lot of excitement over Bernie. You don't see that with Biden. You do see it with Trump. He does have a concentrated group of people who just get fired up when they hear Trump just say ignorant stuff. But
yeah, I was thinking there's a video from like 5 years ago where a guy's driving in to do housework for a black couple, and the wife is like, that's cool, like, we're not going to pay you, you can drive away. And the guy's like, I can take the flag down. And she said, no, I appreciate it, but like, we don't want to give you our business. And so I'm wondering if you see someone pulling up to your house in a MAGA hat, are you justified to do the same thing? Like, do you think you could keep it polite like that, but just say, yeah, like, I don't want to give you money because I don't necessarily know what that means to you. And there is a possibility that it means I'm a racist. I hate immigrants. I like the fact that under the MAGA tent, it could on one hand mean Donald Trump really bucks the trend of a politician. He's a straight shooter. He's the man. He's draining the swamp. Okay, like that's how you see things. That's legit. But there is, you have to admit, some people who are like, these immigrants are bad. They're ruining our country. They're like racist generalizations. And if that is what the hat means to you, symbols have multiple meanings.
Yeah.
If one of the meanings is a racist inclination to viewing people, then yeah, that should not be in your workplace.
Yeah, I agree with that. And one thing, I mean, the hat is just a hideous hat as well.
I know, it's
So
like
it's
a
just-
caricature.
Yeah, it's just like most people wouldn't ordinarily wear that. Some people want to tell others about their support for Trump. And so if I was going to be charitable about, I guess, certain people wearing the MAGA hat, I do believe there are some people who think that the country is going down a bad route. The conservative Ben Shapiro at the moment has been distinguishing the unionists from the disintegrationists. And people who basically want to see the country burn, and other people who say, like, no, America is a good thing, we want to keep on with the American project. And of course there are more extreme, less extreme viewpoints fitting within both
Yeah.
these. But I do think there are people who like the way that Trump governs. They like the policy he's put forward, but they don't like the tweets necessarily. But they do think he's saving America in a certain sense. And I don't think they're explicitly or intentionally wearing the hat for racist reasons, but they are against the leftist snowflakes, and they do believe, like, I should be able to support our president. He is our president, and he's doing a good job, and somebody has to say it.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not one of those people, but I can see it, some people wearing it, not just to incite violence, but...
Yeah, definitely. I think probably the majority of people just have a very different viewpoint of what's going on in the world, and they think Trump's helping out in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
What they want to be seeing. Kevin and I have been talking about like how both parties are becoming the parties of cultural grievance, but it's like from hugely different vantage points. And I think, yeah, if you're wearing a MAGA hat, you're just reminding people that that's how I see the world.
Yeah.
Certain things are under attack from this person's perspective, and they're trying to just let everyone know that's how they're seeing it.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, if someone's wearing a MAGA hat, it is useful to give them a charitable viewpoint just for life, because that's a good way to go through life.
Yeah, depending on the context, of course.
Yeah.
If you're going to one of the Black Lives Matter protests with a MAGA hat,
Yeah, like you're just looking for a fight.
yeah, you're definitely, like, don't do that.
So is it unreasonable of Goodyear to say, like, just don't bring that whole context of everything going on into the workplace?
Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering what was the impetus for them putting out this notice in the first place. Did they have a problem? If they had a problem in the workplace, then yeah, it makes sense for maybe, like, please don't do this. If it's coming out of nowhere and it's more because of the CEO or whatever of Goodyear is more politically motivated, and he's just like, don't want the MAGA hats around here because I don't support that. I mean, you could also make an argument for it because whoever's in charge of Goodyear is in charge of Goodyear, and they can do what they want.
Yeah, within reason, and I think that's certainly within reason.
Yeah.
Companies tell you have to wear uniforms. Companies tell you have to do a whole bunch of stuff when you punch in.
Yeah.
And I think not wearing a MAGA hat is totally within reason.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to get to a clear-cut conclusion about that, but I feel like we should switch to the other end of the pendulum swing and say, is it the exact same thing that Black Lives Matter gear is allowed? Like, should that also not be allowed?
I think it should be allowed for the simple reason that most people who are sporting Black Lives Matter apparel or whatever, they're doing it because they believe there has been injustice throughout the history of our country. They're identifying themselves as allies for the movement.
Yeah.
So I think that's good, and I don't really understand people who refuse to go to businesses now that have Black Lives Matter in the window because they believe, oh, they're taking a political stand. I just want to buy my groceries or what have you. I think it's within reason for businesses to put a Black Lives Matter sticker or something up or banner outside their business because it's their business.
Yeah. You know how we were saying I might have to do a little work to have the charitable view of what a MAGA hat means? I think you would have to do work to have an uncharitable view of what Black Lives Matter means.
Yeah.
It's like a simple statement asserting the dignity of all people.
Yeah.
It's not saying Black Lives Matter more than other matters. It's just saying, hey, Black Lives Matter because they have been overlooked for literally centuries in this land. So, like, let's get our crap together over here. And I don't think it's any more than that.
I think that's right, and even Republicans are getting more onto that viewpoint now, because at first, when the protests started happening during COVID, the Republicans were reacting in kind of, in a sort of impetuous manner, and kind of like, we're not for this, all lives matter, blue lives matter, and they react with these sorts of things. But now, just this past week, I saw a video with the Republican Senator Ted Cruz, who even said, like, Republicans should get on board with this because, like, of course, Black Lives Matter. Like, we should just say that. We shouldn't, like, debate it. And I think if Republicans do want to, or conservatives want to criticize Black Lives Matter as an organization, I think that's more reasonable. I don't know exactly how they're going about those sorts of criticisms towards the organization, but...
Yeah, then you see certain things get roped in, like taking a knee during a national anthem, or abolishing the police, or a few other things that supposedly Black Lives Matter is saying, but at the same time that isn't really what is being said. If someone's wearing a Black Lives Matter shirt or hanging up a sign, I think they are really just saying, I'm trying to be an anti-racist, or I feel oppressed if I actually am a black person. Like, it really is as simple as that.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I agree. It should be allowed in the workplace.
Yeah, so
it's no different than wearing like a rainbow pin or a pride shirt, or you know what I mean? Like, it's just showing that you want to be an ally to communities of people who need more support.
Exactly. So if we were to just sum up, I guess, our viewpoint, well, at least for myself, I think Goodyear is within their power to put this up. I would still like to know the motivation for them putting up this notice, taking this stand. However, it's within their power to do so. And I also think that knowing the reality of the MAGA hat and the effect it does have, I think the people who wear it know the effect it's going to have and know that it's probably going to incite some sort of violence, whether it just be violence in words or physical violence. So, yeah. I don't know, general rule, just don't wear the MAGA hat. It doesn't look good. It's not good for your fashion sense. It's not going to help you much. That's my thought.
I think people like putting others on the defensive sometimes, and simply wearing the hat can do that.
Yeah. But thanks for tuning in. We hope to do more political videos. We just want to put everything out there.
Yeah, all our thoughts are valuable, don't you know?
Yeah, they may or may not be, but hopefully someone will find some interest.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.